Hi, Lisa. How are you?
Hello.
Thank you very much for taking time to meet me and have a conversation.
Of course. It's my
Yeah,
pleasure.
of course, I just learned you graduated from Yale Law School today, and you're going to have a graduation one.
Tomorrow morning.
Very exciting. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, that's a special time, exciting time. I'm glad to catch you in this time. Well, you are very special, of course, as a Asian, as a girl, and graduate from the top law school. That's very, very significant for me. My question is, I want to get idea from you is, how important is the music study in the early age? And tell us when you started to learn music and what was the situation back then.
Yeah. So I started learning piano from my dad, who is a piano teacher and a good friend of yours.
Of course.
Um, and I think that was where it all started. So I started playing piano at 4 and then eventually started playing flute, just joining the elementary school band, and continued playing both instruments through the end of high school. And during that time was, part of the different school bands, but also took lessons outside of that. And for piano, started playing jazz piano. So I was pretty involved in music for most of my early and like middle of my education. I think that to this day, I think music is still very, very important, but also I think different than anything else that I've done since then. In that I think music is one of the few things that you get to build and create things with other people and do it all together at the same time. To start learning a piece together, to put the pieces together, to collaborate and figure out, who's playing too loudly, which section needs to, practice that
Mhm.
complicated run again. How do we all start and end this piece together? I think those are skills that obviously translate to other areas of the world and other types of industries and other types of study. But I think especially in music, the it's obvious when things are working well because you can hear it. It's the music you're playing together at the same time. If you're doing it well together, it's beautiful and it's working and everyone is enjoying it. Whereas I think other projects, it doesn't quite feel the same way if you're working well together on a team on like a, writing a contract or something. It doesn't feel the same. But I think having that base, learning how to play music with others and learning how to play music together, I think is very important for the rest of your life.
And in your case, I was wondering, because you graduated from a University of Washington, majoring in what? What was your major
Uh,
at that time?
Economics and political science. So I did a double major. At the time, I was really interested in government and just generally how like countries and societies operate. And so I was thinking political science, and then realized that political science is kind of a like soft major, and that it's not really about like a very set of skills. And I thought finding a job would be harder with only political science. So
Uh-huh.
I also started taking economics and thought it was really interesting. And similarly talks about how societies structure themselves and allocate resources. But yeah, so I think I was just kind of taking classes and thought those two were really interesting and went pretty well together. And so ended up picking both as majors.
Yeah, so since you graduated from college with the political science economics, and then you decided to pursue your law degree, and which for a lot of young people probably not really familiar how to get to a law school. Um, I was wondering, can you tell us a little bit about the basic foundations you have to have in order to be qualified to apply law school?
Yeah. So one of the nice things about law school is that you can do anything you want in undergrad, and
Oh,
you're still very much qualified to go to law school
okay.
later
I
on.
have a bachelor in piano performance. Can I apply law school?
No, and that would actually make you really competitive. Because I think the most common law school student is someone who did political science or English or philosophy. And so whenever they have people who come from either the sciences, math, or art, they get really, really excited because it brings a new perspective into the legal community. And then you then just take the LSAT, which is a standardized test that they offer, I think, 4 times per year. Most people study for between 3 to 6 months to take it. And then it's I think it's now 4 years ago that I took it, but it's, I think, around a 4 or 5 hour test, and you get a score and then you apply. And normally every law school has a couple of essays they want you to write. Normally one about why you want to come to law school, and then one about, something that you enjoy. And a lot of people write about music. I wrote about piano and my dad. Yeah, so it's a lot less, actually, a lot less rigorous than many other fields like business school. You have to do all these interviews, and PhD, you have to, take other kinds of tests. So law school is actually one of the easier ones, which is nice.
That's interesting. That's, law school always feels like a mystery for a lot of people. Seems like a very high and, it's very serious. Actually, from your mission is, from the admission that's new for me. You can have any kind of background that you can get in and just take a test. Okay, let's say when you get into the law school, what is the curriculum set up? Is you have a particular direction you go, or you just like a college, you can just learn general law, then what's the setups for the law school?
Yeah, that's a very good question. So normally they're 3 years, and normally the first year is spent with a more set curriculum. I am graduating from Yale Law School, and Yale is a little bit different than the other law schools. We're kind of known for being less rigorous, as far as we only have like one requirement, and then after that you can take whatever you want. But that's not very typical. Every other law school, including both Harvard and Stanford, require a set number of classes, at least the first semester, if not the entire first year, which is good, I think, because they force you to take all of the basic parts of the different types of law. There's, contract law, there's constitutional law, and you kind of get all of your basics in your first year. And then after that, it is kind of up to everyone to shape what direction they want to go in. Some people, really want to go and be practicing in criminal law. Some people want to do patent law. And those are very different types of law. And so that's when you get to kind of start picking what kinds of classes you want to take.
Okay. So, and I was wondering, number one, are people get into law school because they have a vast knowledge of something, or they have an interest of something, or they just pure smart? Okay. And that's number one question. Number two question is, the law school training the students what? And give them knowledge, or show them the method how to be smart, or give them some kind of secret power to solve problems? I may be saying too much, but you pick something.
No, these are very good questions. And I think something that we actually ask ourselves a lot in law school. What are we doing here? I think to your first question, I think generally it's a combination of both that I think ends up drawing people to law school. I think people who are smart, who have a particular interest in solving problems, and are often passionate about, I think law is one of the few fields that really does allow you a lot of different tools to impact how the rest of the world functions. Once you understand our legal system, you understand what rights you and others are entitled to or are not entitled to. And I think as long as you're thinking about our society as one that can be changed by either making new laws or taking away current laws, understanding what the basic system is and how you can do that is really helpful. And of course, just your day-to-day, how do you write a will? How do you file your taxes and not get in trouble? All of those are governed by laws. So it's also kind of a practical thing to know about. So I think most of my classmates who are here all have just a general level of interest in solving some of these larger problems in society, or wanting to make changes in our society, but also are very smart and very interested in learning the, laws. Oftentimes quite boring, just a whole bunch of rules. And so you have to be someone who's willing to sit down and read a whole bunch of rules and then think about how they work together. That said, I think your question of, what happens in law school? Do they teach you to be smarter? Do they give you actual knowledge? I think law school is mostly teaching you a series of ways to think about things. I think most of law school is teaching you how there can be a set of rules, and there can be a set of facts, and you have to think about how you apply these facts to the rule. The law is you can't drive a vehicle over 25 miles per hour. Well, what can a vehicle be? You could be in a car, you could be on a bicycle. Is someone carrying a stroller with a baby with 4 wheels also on a vehicle? If that woman is running, is she over the speed limit? As a lawyer, you start thinking about how all these different rules can be bended and changed, and what the line is between, what the real life act is and what this arbitrary, rule is, and how you can kind of play with those two things at the same time.
It's interesting and also important. So if you were advising the young people still in school right now, as as the position right now you add, what do you would say to them?
Yeah, and we're specifically talking about if these young students want to go to law school someday.
Yeah, they are studying high school. They are thinking what career they will pursue.
I think the law school formula is pretty straightforward. It's good grades in undergrad, a good LSAT score. I ended up going to the State University for I'm from Seattle, and so I went to the University of Washington. And certainly at that time, I was like, my life is over if I don't go to Harvard. I'm never going to get a real job, and that's not true. So if anyone who is out there who's a young student who thinks their life is over because they aren't going to get the perfect academic next step, it's not. You're going to be okay. I think no matter what school you go to, if you study hard and find something you're very interested in, that'll show in your grades. Your passion for what you're doing normally translates to more time and more effort poured into it, and that means that you'll have a good college record coming out of college.
Fascinating, fascinating. Absolutely. This is very enlightening because you actually showed a different path. The first 4 years of college is actually not, I wouldn't say not important, but it's not the end of the world if you don't get into the good college. You graduate from law school. So what do you see yourself from now, 5 years later, where you want to be?
Great question. I think that 5 years from now, hopefully, we'll be able to work in immigration and hopefully try to make the immigration laws in the United States a little bit more fair and a little bit more compassionate.
So that's great, great direction.
Yeah.
Well, that's fascinating to talk to you, Lisa. And I don't want to drag too much time for you. I know you're busy in this graduation time.
No, such a pleasure. Thank you for chatting with me.
And I understand that your dad and mom and your brother all with you there, right?
They have come to see me in New Haven. They're very kind. New Haven's a little bit out of the way, so.
Great. Can we see them in this screen?
You want to give a quick, yeah.
You don't move.
Don't move. Okay.
Yeah.
Hi, proud
to see you here
Yale
again.
Law School student dad and mom. Where's your brother?
He's peeking out right over here.
Wow, congratulations. I'm so proud of your family.
Yeah.
Hi, Austin. Yeah.
It was in New York, not in New Haven.
Yeah, so let's say, James, what's your feeling right now? I'm just kidding.
You're proud of her.
No, of course.
Yeah.
What do you think, Mom? Your hard work pays off, right? Yeah, wonderful.
So I'm very, very grateful.
I'm not sure.
Yeah, best wishes.
Thank you.
Good luck
Thank
in
you.
your future. All right.
Thank you very much.
Okay.
Hopefully we'll get to see you again soon.
Yeah, we'll see you soon.
All right.
See you soon.
Bye-bye. Thank you
Bye-bye.
again for your time.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.